Dear student, welcome to Open Elective Paper Introduction to Physical Geography, Unit 8, Biosphere. Myself, Dr. Divya.S, Assistant Professor, Department of Studies and Research in Geography, Karnataka State Open University, Mukthagangothri Mysuru. Let us understand what is biosphere. Biosphere andre ಏನು? Biosphere is one of the four sections of physical geography. It is the fourth component of Earth's environment. The other three are atmosphere, hydrosphere, and lithosphere. Biosphere refers to the study of the zone of the earth which is the habitat of all kinds of plants, animals, and microbial activities. ಜೀವಗೋಳ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಪ್ರಾಣಿಗಳು, ಸಸ್ಯಗಳು ಮತ್ತು ಇತರ ಎಲ್ಲಾ ಜೀವ ಇರುವ ಜೀವಿಗಳು ವಾಸಿಸುತ್ತವೋ ಅದನ್ನ ಜೀವಗೋಳ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. The main objective of this unit is ecosystem and its functioning, food chain to understand the food pyramid, and ecological balance. Meaning of biome and major biomes and their distribution, and to understand the meaning and significance of biodiversity and types of biodiversity, causes for the loss of biodiversity, need of biodiversity, and conservation. And the last objective is methods of conserving biodiversity. Let us see what is biodiversity, its meaning, definition in the present session. Biosphere is the most important part of physical geography. The field of physical geography is divided into four components, namely lithosphere, atmosphere, hydrosphere, and biosphere. Biosphere is the study of area of the earth in which living organisms exist. It deals with the life forms in relation to their environment. It includes the study of lithosphere, atmosphere, and hydrosphere where any forms of life exist. Living organisms interact with other organisms, that is called as biotic components, and also with their environment, that is abiotic components. This functional unit of biotic and abiotic components of an area is called as ecosystem. The size of ecosystem varies. The entire earth itself is a gigantic ecosystem consisting of all terrestrial and aquatic ecosystems and also all kind of man-made ecosystems. In the ecosystem, energy is transferred from one component to another, which is called energy flow or food chain. Transfer of energy take place at several steps called tropic level, the shape of which resembles a pyramid. Large areas of the earth's surface have similar association of species called biomes. The name of biodiversity refers to all forms of life that existing in an area which is threatened by various human activities. So, several programs have been taken to conserve and protect biodiversity to the earth. Let's see what is the meaning of biosphere. The term biosphere was first introduced by Lamarck in the year 1802 and it was popularized by Wernadsky after 1929. It is the fourth important component of natural environment of the earth. It is an integral and unique feature of the earth. He defined biosphere as it is the sphere in which all forms of life exist and is responsible even for the evolution of life on the earth including man. Let us read some important definitions of biosphere. Biosphere has been defined by various scientists. As I earlier said, some of the important definitions are, according to Oliver and Boyd, they define biosphere is the biologically inhabited part of the lithosphere, atmosphere, and hydrosphere. According to Encyclopedia of Britannica, the region in which organisms are found is known as biosphere. According to the Oxford Dictionary, the biosphere is defined as regions of Earth's crust and atmosphere occupied by living matter. In the Dictionary of Geography, biosphere is defined as it is the part of the earth and and its atmosphere where life is able to exist. Now, looking at these definitions, it is clear that the biosphere is the name given to the part of Earth which inhabits life of any form. Man is an important part of this biosphere, living with occupying particular part of the Earth's surface and interacting with other organisms. ಜೀವಗೋಳ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಏನು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಆಥರ್ಸ್ ಜೋಗ್ರಫರ್ಸ್ ಅಂಡ್ ಡಿಫ್ರೆಂಟ್ ಡಿಕ್ಷನರೀಸ್ ಯಾವ ತರ ಅದನ್ನ ಡಿಫೈನ್ ಮಾಡಿದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರೆ ಬಯೋಸ್ಫಿಯರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಜೀವಗೋಳ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಅದು ಒಂದು ಸರೌಂಡಿಂಗ್ ಪ್ಲೇಸಸ್ ವೇರ್ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಜೀವಿ ಅಸ್ತಿತ್ವದಲ್ಲಿದೆ ಮತ್ತೆ ಅದು ಒಂದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಇಂಟರ್ ಕನೆಕ್ಟೆಡ್ ಆಗಿದೆ ಅಂದ್ರೆ ಒಂದಕ್ಕೊಂದು ಸಂಬಂಧವನ್ನು ಹೊಂದಿದೆ ಅದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಸ್ಟಡಿ ಮಾಡೋದನ್ನ ನಾವು ಬಯೋಸ್ಫಿಯರ್ ಅಥವಾ ಜೀವಗೋಳ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ನಾವು ಕರಿತೇವೆ. Let us see the extent and characteristics. Biosphere is the global garden extending to the height of about 6,000 meters and 10,000 meters below the sea level. It is the realm of organisms of complex form and coexistence. Current estimates show that there are about 3 lakh species of green plants and fungi and about 13 lakh species of animals. Besides, it also includes innumerable types of bacteria and yeast. It is believed that there are many microorganisms unknown to man even today. The organisms of life forms in the biosphere vary in size. The variation is from a microorganism like bacteria to large whales, elephants, as well as to gigantic trees. All forms of life are broadly divided into two groups. They are plant kingdom and animal kingdom. Each group consists of several species. One of the species of the biosphere is Homo sapien 2, which man is belonged. Structure of biosphere. Biosphere, in addition to plants and animals, also include land, water, and air, which supports life. Thus, all the elements of biosphere are divided into two categories, namely biotic and abiotic components. All plants, animals, microorganisms constitute biotic segment. In contrast, lithosphere, hydrosphere, and atmosphere are parts of a biotic component of biosphere. All organisms of biosphere are not only interrelated, at the same time they are closely associated with their physical environment. Nutrients and water, which are essential for plants, are supplied by the physical component of the earth. Now, importance of biosphere nodadadre, biosphere is the home of all forms of life like plants, animals, including man. ಜೀವಗೋಳವು ಮನುಷ್ಯ, ಸಸ್ಯವರ್ಗ, ಪ್ರಾಣಿ ವರ್ಗವನ್ನ ಎಲ್ಲಿ ಅದರ ಹೋಮ್ ಒಂದು ಮನೆಯಾಗಿ ಅದು ಕನ್ವರ್ಟ್ ಆಗಿದೆಯೋ ಅದನ್ನ ಬಯೋಸ್ಫಿಯರ್ ಇವರೆಲ್ಲದರದ್ದು ಮನೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಕರೀತಾರೆ. Forms of life are the most unique features of our earth. All forms of life are made up of three elements that are carbon, hydrogen, and oxygen. Other elements like nitrogen, sulfur, phosphorus, and manganese are also required in small quantities. These elements, fundamental to the life forms, are known as nutrients. These are all the components of natural environment are complementary to the evolution and existence of life on the earth. Atmosphere has protected the life through greenhouse effect and also kept the earth warm to sustain life. Atmospheric gaseous elements also play an important role in sustenance of life. Carbon dioxide is the essential for the photosynthesis process of plants to produce food. Thus, the green plants form the chief source of food. All the animals of the world and human beings directly or indirectly are depending on the plants as a source of their food. Thus, man is an integral part of biosphere as well as he is dependent on environment. The dead plants and animals are decayed and decomposed. Nutrients are once again added to the soil on which plants depends for their growth. So, the study of biosphere is essential for understanding the natural environment of the earth. Let us see what is ecosystem. The term ecosystem was first coined by Tansley AG in the year 1930s. The interaction between the organisms and their natural environment is complex. In any area, either small like a pond or a large like continent, the interrelationship should be dealt together as they are closely related. The entirety of living organisms in combination with the physical and biological environment is termed as the ecosystem. Fors- Forsberg defined that the ecosystem is a functioning, interacting system composed of one or more living organisms and their effective environment, both physical and biological. Thus, ecosystem is a functional unit of biotic and abiotic components of an area. The study of interrelationship between the living organisms and their environment is called as ecology. The term ecology was introduced by Ernest Haeckel in the year 1869. According to Tansley, there are two major components in ecosystem. They are biotic and abiotic component. The entire Earth is a huge ecosystem which consists of several subsystems of various size. Ecosystems are open systems in which energy and nutrients flow across boundaries. There are four basic components in an ecosystem. They are abiotic component, producers or autotrophs, consumers or heterotrophs, and the fourth one is decomposers. Let us see one by one what they are. Abiotic component consists of all non-living parts of the ecosystems. And the producers or autotrophs refers to all green plants and algae which are capable of producing food through the photosynthesis process in which solar energy is used to prepare carbohydrates from water and carbon dioxide. And the third one is consumers or heterotrophs. This category consists of animals which get food eating plants and also other animals. The heterotrophs are basically are of three types. They are herbivores, carnivores, and omnivores. The herbivores which eat only plant materials. Carnivores feed on their other animals, and omnivores eat both plant and animal material. The fourth category is decomposers. It includes bacteria and fungi which decay and decompose the plant and animal material. These includes detrivores, that is earthworms, and decomposers, that is fungi. The types of ecosystem. There are millions of ecosystems of varying size and types. All these ecosystems can be grouped into two categories. They are natural ecosystem and man-made ecosystem. Natural ecosystem are all types of ecosystems of the earth which are naturally evolved are included under natural ecosystem. There are two major types of natural ecosystem, namely terrestrial ecosystem and aquatic ecosystem. These two categories are further subdivided into various groups. Forest ecosystem, pond, coastal are some of the examples of natural ecosystem. And the second category is man-made ecosystem. Man has modified the natural conditions to make use of the land and other materials for different purposes. He has induced different ecosystems such as agricultural crops, plantation, parks, fish, pond, urban ecosystem, etc. These are the examples of man-made ecosystem. Some of the simple ecosystems are pond ecosystem and forest ecosystem. Ecosystem of a pond. The organisms, both plant and animal, in a pond interact with themselves and also with their physical environment. So it can be considered as an ecosystem. Ecosystem of a forest. The ecosystem may be explained in relation to an area of forest. It consists of different species of plants and animals like grass, shrubs, plants, trees, fungi, yeast, birds, and animals of both carnivores and herbivores. The green plants derive their food extracting nutrients from the soil, water, and air. Food is produced through photosynthesis process. Parasitic plants feeds on producing plants. Some of the birds and animals are the predators of plants. Some animals are also fed on the other animals. When the plants and animals die, they are decomposed with the bacterial activity. The nutrients are released from their body back to soil, which are once again extracted by the plants. Thus, every component will interact with each other. The plants and animals at the same time are also in interaction with the soil and water components of the physical environment. Let us see the structure of ecosystem. The ecosystem is the functional unit of interaction of living organisms with the non-living substances. It has two biotic systems. They are autotrophic and heterotrophic. The autotrophic components are the self-producers of food in the ecosystem. They produce food with the energy received from solar radiation and the inorganic materials derived from the soil and the atmosphere. The energy source and material sources are used to manufacture organic substances in the cells of autotrophs. The heterotrophic components. It consists of consumers and decomposers. They use, rearrange, and also decompose organic substances made available from autotrophic components. In the ecosystem, every organism has its own role to perform, and this role performed by the organism is called ecological niche, like producer, consumer, decomposer, etc. But some animals are specialists like koala bear eating only eucalyptus leaves, euglena, a unicellular algae, can perform either as an autotroph or heterotroph. Frugivorous eat only fruits like bats. Similarly, the place where an organism lives normally and well adapted to its condition is called its habitat. Food chain in the ecosystem. As we all know what is food chain, it is connected to, we are all connected to one another. Similar to the hydrological cycle of atmosphere, many natural cycles like carbon, nitrogen and hydrogen are present in the biosphere. Energy is basically required for the cycling movements. The chief source of energy is solar radiation. It is responsible for all forms of life and movements on the Earth's surface. The energy is transferred from one component to another component, which is described as energy flow or food chain. In the entire biosphere, no form of life is isolated. Every form of life feeds on others, and at the same time, it is eaten by others. So, the food chain is complex interrelationships of organisms of different levels, which is called as food web. The trophic levels. The transfer of energy from one component to another take place at different series of steps or levels. Energy transfer at each point in the system is usually referred to as trophic level. In an ecosystem, usually there will be four to five trophic levels. The tropic pyramids. The plants are primary producers absorb only a small fraction of the solar radiation. So much of the solar radiation is lost. The plants make use of the much of the absorbed energy for their growth and respiration. Only about 10% is stored and it is transferred to herbivores, which in turn will yield a small fraction to carnivores. So, a large area of plants can support a small group of herbivores, and a large herd of herbivore animals can feed only few carnivores. Ecological balance. No form of life in the biosphere is independent, and everyone is depending on one another, organic and inorganic elements. There is a perfect coordination as well as harmony between not only different forms of life but also in between physical and biotic world. The plants have mechanism of food preparation not only for themselves but also for the entire animal kingdom. But even the plants are not independent as they are derived nutrients from soil and atmosphere. When the plants and animals composed with bacterial activity and their nutrients are released to the soil. Thus, the energy flow cycle is naturally maintained with the natural process in the ecosystem. There is perfect harmony between biotic and abiotic environment on the one hand and between organisms of biosphere on the other hand. The number of animals and plants and their interaction is perfectly maintained by nature. It is known as ecological balance. Mm, In ecosystem, we can study the natural cycles, which include carbon cycle, nitrogen cycle, oxygen cycle, hydrogen cycle, and hydrological cycle. The ecological balance in an ecosystem is maintained through innumerable natural cycles. These cyclic processes are similar to food chain or nutrient cycle through which energy flows. First, we'll see carbon cycle. Carbon is an essential element found in all living beings. Plants derive carbon dioxide from air for food preparation during the photosynthesis process. Plants are consumed by the animals and gets compounds of carbon. Carnivorous animals eat on herbivores. Omnivores like man get carbon both from plants and animals. Animals convert carbon into carbon dioxide during respiration and release to air. Carbon dioxide is also liberated during the decomposition of plants and animals after their death. Let us see how nitrogen cycle works. Nitrogen circulates continuously through soil, water, air, and living beings. Nitrogen is found in all proteins and nucleic acids. Plants absorb nitrogenous compounds from the soil through their roots and synthesize proteins in their cells. Animals get nitrogen through the plants, bacteria, and fungi decompose the dead plants and animals and release the nitrogen to the air. Oxygen cycle. All the living beings on the earth need oxygen for respiration. ನಾವೆಲ್ಲ ಉಸಿರಾಡೋದು ಆಕ್ಸಿಜನ್ ಇಂದಾನೆ. So we all need oxygen. In nature, the oxygen cycle is constantly going on and balance is maintained. Green plants absorb carbon dioxide gas from the atmosphere and convert into oxygen by the process of photosynthesis. ಫೋಟೋಸಿಂಥಸಿಸ್ ಕಾರ್ಯ ಪ್ರಕ್ರಿಯೆಯಿಂದ ಏನು ಸಸ್ಯವರ್ಗ ಇದೆಯೋ ಅದೆಲ್ಲಾನು ಕಾರ್ಬನ್ ಡೈಆಕ್ಸೈಡ್ನ ಹೀರ್ಕೊಂಡು ನಮಗೆ ಆಮ್ಲಜನಕವನ್ನ ನೀಡ್ತಾ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಹೈಡ್ರೋಜನ್ ಸೈಕಲ್. Water is an essential for all plants and animals. During photosynthesis, hydrogen is produced by the dissociation of water, which forms glucose after combining with carbon dioxide. Herbivorous animals get food from plants. Carnivorous and omnivorous animals get food from plants. Carnivorous and omnivorous gets carbohydrates from plants as well as animals. ಮನುಷ್ಯ ಮತ್ತು man and ecological imbalance. Nature perfectly maintains the ecological balance through natural cycles as well as through maintaining the number of organisms and animals. As there is limitation in the availability of food, nature controls animal population. Interference of man in the nature has caused large-scale disturbances in the natural ecosystem. Every organism in the nature is a link in the complex ecosystem. Man, in the process of utilization of resources, has caused disturbances in the ecological balance. As a result of ecological disturbances, several new problems have been emerged, such as biological imbalance, global warming, greenhouse effect, acid rain, depletion of ozone layer, etc. Let's see what are the biological imbalances. Biological or ecological imbalance refers to disturbance in the ecological balance due to some interference. In nature, the relative number of organisms are more or less in a balanced state. As a result of human interference, some of the organisms are eliminated or destroyed and number of other species have increased. There are several such problems at present. Some of the examples of biological imbalances are Due to deforestation, wild animals are entering into agricultural fields. Decrease in the herbivorous animals has caused scarcity of food for the carnivores. Cultivation of single crop over a wide area increase the disease for the particular crop, such as mite problem of coconut. The monkey fever of Malnad region is believed to be related with the destruction of forest. This global warming is the effect of greenhouse effect, or global warming is defined as progressive warming up of the Earth's atmosphere due to increase of certain gases such as carbon dioxide, CO2, methane, CH4, nitrogen gas N2O, CFC, and ozone O3. These are called noble gases. Though accounts for a minute percentage in the atmosphere, gases influences much on climatic condition. The Earth gets temperature from the solar radiation, whereas the atmosphere gets temperature from the terrestrial radiation in the form of long waves. Thus, atmosphere is the transparent to solar radiation but non-transparent to the long waves of Earth's radiation. In the recent years, due to large-scale pollution, the percentage of carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases is increasing. Terrestrial radiation is trapped in the Earth's atmosphere, so temperature is continuously increasing from one decade to another. It is described as global warming. It is estimated that the average temperature of the Earth's atmosphere in the last 100 years has increased about 0.6 degrees Celsius. If it continues further, and if the atmospheric temperature is increased about 2 degrees Celsius to 3 degrees Celsius, it will have large scale implications such as most of the ice caps and ice sheets will melt. The mean sea level rises and causes submergence of lowlands of the earth. The entire pattern of climate will change. The distribution of plants and animals will be affected. Even the population distribution is also altered. The greenhouse effect. Global warming is caused mainly with greenhouse effect. An account of large-scale air pollution, atmosphere acts as greenhouse. It is a transparent and allows solar radiation, and it is non-transparent for long waves of the terrestrial radiation. Thus, with the increase of carbon dioxide, the Earth's atmosphere is experiencing increase of temperature. Acid rain. The term acid rain is used to denote rainwater and snow mixed with acids. It is mainly caused with the emittance of sulfur dioxide and nitric acids by the automobiles, power plants, and industries. The released sulfur and nitrogen compounds get transformed into acids due to chemical reactions in the atmosphere. For example, sulfur dioxide reacts with water vapor to form sulfuric acid in the presence of sunlight. The acids get mixed with the rainwater and snow and falls on the ground. Thus, it is caused with the pollution of air on a large scale. Even burning of petrol and diesel produce nitrogen oxide, which forms into nitric acid with rainwater. Quite often, many oil wells caught fire and the smoke reached even far off places and turned snow into black color. Depletion of ozone layer. The air pollution also affects solar radiation, which badly affect on human health. Depletion of ozone layer has already caused serious concern throughout the world. The ozone layer of the atmosphere has protected all the living beings on the earth by deadly ultraviolet rays of the sun. The ozone layer extends from 25 to 40 kilometers. In nature, ozone is produced with the ultraviolet rays of the sun. Ozone absorbs the ultraviolet rays by dissolving its oxygen component. Thus, oxygen absorbs ultraviolet radiation from forming ozone layer. Thus, an ozone cycle exists at upper layers of the atmosphere in which ozone and oxygen remains in equilibrium. This balance has been upset in the recent years on account of excessive chemical pollutants in the air. It is largely due to chlorofluorocarbons used in the refrigerators, air conditioners, aerosol spray, and plastic foams. Free chlorine atoms of these compounds in increasing quantity have distributed ozone equilibrium. It is estimated that one chlorine atom can destroy nearly 1 lakh ozone molecules. With widespread of chlorofluorocarbons, scientists have noticed depletion of ozone layer. Ozone layer is becoming thin over Antarctica, which is described as ozone hole. It causes dreadful decrease skin like skin cancer and skin allergies. In addition, plants and animals are also badly affected. The world community has taken several measures and successfully maintaining ozone level in the atmosphere. After seeing the ecosystem, we'll go to biomes. Some large areas of the world have similar climatic, edaphic, and other normal factors. Owing to their factors, they have developed some typical vegetation. In accordance with the influences of natural factors and also inhabited by unique wildlife, these are called as biomes. Thus, biome is a large community of vegetation and wildlife that adapted to a specific climate. Biome is normally used in North America to refer large segment of Earth's surface with similar climate supporting distinct vegetation and wildlife. In European countries, these are also known as major life zones. Biomes are known to have various community of species and these are normally named for the dominant type of vegetation such as grassland biome, desert biome, coniferous biome, etc. Biome is a specific environment that is home to living things suited for that place and climate. The word biome is derived from two Greek terms, bios, which means life, and omam, which means group or mass. The word biome was first used by American ecologist Clements in 1916 and it is widely accepted in ecological studies. Sometimes ecozone, ecoregion are also used to mean biome. The classification. There are innumerable number of biomes classification as plants and animals varies from one habitat to another. In the same habitat, different species coexist each other, one occupying particular location with particular ecological functions. This phenomena is called mutualism and some are also parasites. Ecologists have identified biomes in relation to climate and soil conditions. The entire Earth is basically divided into terrestrial and aquatic biomes as the species of land and water are contrasting. Further, these are subdivided. Some of the most important and well-known biomes are coniferous forest. The coniferous forest biome is found in the south of the Arctic tundra, occupying large area of the northern hemisphere. It extends from Alaska across North America to the Atlantic Ocean and Eurasia. The biggest stretch of coniferous forest on the earth is in northern hemisphere. It is also known as taiga or boreal forest. These woodlands are comprised principally of cone-bearing trees, for example, spruce, fir, hemlock, which are appropriate for the cool climate. The temperature in the coniferous biomes goes below freezing point for most of the year except during short summers. Weather remains cold with only snowfall. Due to such harsh conditions, only few plant species exist. Animals like ermine, the moose, polar bear, the red fox, and the polar rabbit thrive in this biome. The cold weather makes it very difficult for plants and animals to survive. Deciduous forest biome. Large area of this biome is in the northern hemisphere. Significant areas are found in eastern North America, Europe, and East South and Southeast Asia. The word deciduous means out at a certain season. This is why deciduous means leaf shedding or leaves fall out of the trees during winters. Due to lack of moisture, trees shed leaves. Leaf shedding is followed by flowering and fruit bearing in the tree. The characteristics rotting of the fallen leaves enhances the dirt and helps to support variety of types of animals and plant life. Monsoons land are well known for deciduous forests. In any case, The fruitful soil is likewise useful for the cultivation, and in Europe and Asia, the greater parts of the deciduous woods have been cut down to make space for farms and homes. This is the reason why most of the deciduous forests have now disappeared. These forests remain with all virgin features only in the protected forest. The desert biome. The name desert refers to the land where annual rainfall is less than 25 centimeter. Deserts of tropical and subtropical are well known with unique features. A desert is a zone where presence of life is limited primarily due to absence of water. Researchers gauge that around one-fifth of the world surface is deserts that receives less than 25 centimeters of rainfall. Deserts can be found in every continent except Europe. Some of the largest deserts are Sahara, Kalahari, and Namib belonging to xerophytes deserts in Africa, Thar deserts of India, Taklamakan deserts of China, Mongolian deserts of Mongolia, deserts of Iraq, Iran, Syria, etc. The Great Deserts of Australia, Peruvian Desert, and Atacama Deserts of South America, the Mojave and Sonoran Deserts of South America. The absence of water and high temperature makes this biome as a poor choice of most of the forms of life. Grasslands biome. Grasslands are one of the most important and unique biome of the world. The grasslands are hot and dry conditions with short rainy season that are ideal for the growth of grass. They are known all through the world by distinctive names like prairies in North America, veld in South Africa, savanna in Central Africa, campos in Brazil, llanos in Venezuela, Australian savanna, steppes in Central Asia, downs in Southeast Australia, pustas in Hungary. This inland biome is made of very extensive area of grassland. It gets so little rain that very few trees can develop which can withstand long droughts. The trees are stunted, which appears like sprunt trees and the parks. So these grasslands are also called parklands of the world. There are two main types of grasslands: tropical and temperate grasslands. Tropical grasslands cover more and large areas of Australia, South America, and India. These are found in hot and warm climates. Temperate grassland are found in South Africa, Argentina, and some plains of Central North America and Asia. Temperature in temperate grassland varies from summer to winter, with high temperatures in summer and freezing temperature. Mountain biome. Mountains exist on all the main continents of the earth. A large portion of the world's mountain lies in two very large chains. The Circum-Pacific, called the Ring of Fire, runs from west bank of the Americas through New Zealand and Australia and up through the Philippines to Japan. The other significant France in the west to the Alps to the Himalayas in the east, extending further until finally ending in the area in and around Indonesia. Mountains are normally consist of several ranges of chains. A mountain biome is exceptionally cool and breezy. The higher the mountain, the colder the windier and the biome is. There is additionally less oxygen at heights, which can make it difficult for some people and creatures to reside there. Mountains have different species at different altitudes. Each range of altitude has different association of plants and animals well adapted to the habitat. Animals in the mountain biome like mountain goat, yak, sheep are excellent climbers and can move freely on the rocky landscape. The tropical rainforest. These are also most typical biomes found in few areas of hot and wet climate in the lowlands of tropical and subtropical region. These are found in Central America islands. A large tropic rainforest is in the South American nation Brazil called selvas. Hot and wet conditions around the year produce ideal conditions for luxurious growth of tall trees growing up to 30 meters. The trees are thick and forms a thick canopy. They are the habitat of wide variety of animals and birds. Tundra biome. It is a frosty, unlivable, treeless territory of low swampy fields in the far north around Arctic Ocean. It includes the northern terrains of Europe, Asia, and North America, and also the greater parts of Greenland. Climate is extremely cold and temperature never rises more than 10 degrees Celsius. Precipitation is largely in the form of snow. Winters are long and severe. This is the world's coldest biome. Being extremely cold, it is devoid of any trees and forest. The vegetation in the biome largely consists of lichens, mosses, and grass which grow during the short summer seasons. The ground on the Arctic tundra has forever solidified subsoil called permafrost, which makes it hard for trees to develop. Many fossils have been found in the permafrost that is located in these biomes. The tundra has winter and summer as the main seasons. Springs are short and fall between summer and winter. It is one of the coldest and driest of the earth. It has animals like mountain goats, marmots, beetles, and butterflies. Then comes freshwater biome. Water is the major natural resource that is the basis for life. It supports life and countless species live in it for all are part of their lives. Freshwater biomes supply us with our drinking water and water for crop irrigation. This water biome is named for the low concentration of salt found in the water because salt is important for the body to function properly. The plants and animals here have many adaptations that help them save salt. This includes most ponds, streams, lakes, and rivers. Freshwater biomes have suffered mainly from pollution. Runoff containing fertilizers and other waste and other industrial dumpings enters into rivers, ponds, and lakes and tend to promote abnormally rapid algae growth. When these algae die, dead organic matter accumulates in the water. This makes the water unusable and it kills many of the organisms living in the habitat. Marine biome. This water biome is the largest biome in the world as it includes the five major oceans that cover 70% of the earth. Marine water has high levels of salt, so animals and plants living here have adaptations that help them get rid of salt. The world's oceans affect the global climate highly as forests do. Water has a high capacity of absorption because the earth is mostly covered of the atmosphere fairly constant and able to support life. In addition to this climate buffering capacity, the oceans contain several billion photosynthetic planktons, which account for most of the photosynthesis occurring on the earth. Without these, there might not be enough oxygen to support such a large world population and complex animal life. Large amount of carbon dioxide is also absorbed by organisms of large oceans. So, ocean are also called as carbon sink. Biodiversity. After studying ecosystem, ecological imbalance, biomes, let us understand what is biodiversity. The term biodiversity was said to be coined by W.G. Rosen in the year 1985. In addition, biological diversity was also used synonym to biodiversity. At present, the term biodiversity is commonly used in all ecological and environmental sciences. Biodiversity was one of the important issues of Earth Summit in the year 1992 held at Rio de Janeiro of Brazil. Thus, biodiversity is one of the major problems of present world. Is the variety of life found in a place of the earth. Sometimes it is also called biological diversity. It refers to all types of species living in an area which includes varieties of plants, animals, fungi, and microorganizations. In the Earth Summit, biodiversity is defined as all organisms of all ecosystems, both terrestrial and aquatic regions. The types of biodiversity are genetic and ecological diversity and species diversity. First one is genetic diversity. It refers to the variety of species in an area. Richness of biodiversity is indicated by variety of species in the region. Ecological diversity. It refers to the diversity of ecosystem in a particular region, that is mangroves, rainforests, deserts, etc. It includes all different habitats like tropical forest, temperature system, wetland, rivers, mountains, coral reefs, etc. Loss of biodiversity and conservation. It refers to the decrease of biodiversity or biological diversity within a defined geographical area, varying from smallest ecosystem to biosphere. This loss can lead to breakdown in the functioning of ecosystem, as every organism is a link in the ecosystem. Human interference in the nature is mainly responsible for the loss of biodiversity. Some of the most important causes for biodiversity loss are habitat loss, destruction of fragmentations, reduced habitat of species, poaching of animals, reduce, reduce their numbers. Man wildlife conflict causes reduction in the wild animals. Introduction of invasive species which are non-native significantly affect the ecosystem. Overexploitation, extracting of more biotic resources like fish, trees, and deplete their availability in nature. Pollution has affected every aspect of nature by creations, health problems, and threatened species survival. It also alters quality of habitat. Climate change associated with global warming has modified Earth's climate. It has caused changes in temperature and precipitation pattern affecting the environment and has caused changes in the ecosystem. Extension of cultivation, mining, construction of roads and railways, settlements, irrigation, and power projects have caused destruction of forests. So many species have deprived their habitats. The primary drivers of biodiversity loss are influenced by the exponential growth of human population, increasing consumption as people strive for more affluent and lavish lifestyles associated with the economic development. Biodiversity hotspots. A hotspot is a region with a high level of biodiversity in which many species are endemic which are threatened by habitat loss. The term biodiversity hotspot was introduced in the year 1988 by Norman Mayers. Thus, biodiversity hotspots are known to have high diversity of species which are many are endemic. The area must be located near human habitations, which causes habitat loss, threatening the endemic species. This vulnerable situation of endemic species is termed as hotspot. These species becomes endangered and become extinct if there is no proper conservation. Most of the world's hotspots are in the tropics. There are about 36 biodiversity hotspots in the world. There are two such hotspots in India, namely Western Ghats and Eastern Himalayas. Conservation of biodiversity. Conservation of biodiversity refers to protection, upliftment, and scientific management of biodiversity so as to maintain it at a threshold level and derive sustainable benefits for the present and future generations. Conservation of biodiversity is essential to preserve the diversity of species, sustainable utilization of species, and ecosystem. Biodiversity is protected by various means which can be broadly divided into two types, that is in situ conservation and ex situ conservation. By studying all these things, we can understand the biosphere is an important segment of physical geography which deals with all living organisms of the earth. The word biosphere refers to the zone of earth with living organisms, that is, ecology is concerned with the study of living organisms and their environment. Ecosystems refers to functional unit of biotic and abiotic components of an area which are interrelated. In the ecosystem, energy produced by the plants is transferred from one component to another, which is called energy flow or food chain, which is highly complex. As such, it is known as food web. There is perfect balance of life in the biosphere, in which species are interdependent and all organisms are depending on inorganic elements through natural cycles. This balance is impaired in the recent period by humans through various activities. It is called ecological imbalance. It has caused many problems like global warming and climate change. Large areas of the earth have similar climate, soil, and other natural factors which have caused similar type of vegetation and animal life. These are known as biomes. Biomes are named after the dominant type of vegetation. There are 10 important biome regions which are clearly recognizable. Biodiversity refers to variety of life forms found in an area which varies from one region to another. Biodiversity is most significant as it is the store of house of several material and non-material that man gets. This biodiversity also depleted in the recent year, which is called as loss of biodiversity. So there are many programs and policies for the conservation of biodiversity. With this, the unit 8 completes. If you have any doubt, you can call me at any time. Thank you, dear students.